Hi everyone, my name is Sima. Welcome back to my channel. This week's video is another entry in my series where I rank characters based on how badly I want them to throw me through a wall. This week's video is about the characters of Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower, which is just a little bit unhinged, but we already knew I was unhinged. My whole brand is being unhinged. If you wanted to see the other videos in this series, a playlist should be popping up somewhere on your screen. You can click into that. I would recommend the first one especially because one, it's the first one, it's the classic, it's the original, and two, my disclaimers are laid out way more intensively in that one, but I will start out by saying that the main disclaimer I want to make in this video is please don't do this in real life. I do not endorse throwing people through objects in real life, consensually or otherwise. If you do want to try this at home, which I do not recommend, please make sure to be throwing people consensually. None of the characters on this list, probably barring a few, would ever do this consensually, and unlike most of the episodes, there are really very few good characters on this list. Most of these people are bad people that try to kill you a lot, so take this all with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I have no explanations for myself. I have no defense. Something is deeply wrong with me, and we were going to see that in the full picture of it as we go through this list. I have about 16 characters on this list. I was originally gonna make this video about a month ago, but then I decided I should just wait until I finish Whistleblower and do it all together, just so I'll have more characters. So you guys get the extended version now, for better or for worse. I have 16 characters. I went on the Outlast wiki and I looked at all of the characters that were listed under Whistleblower and the original game. I did not take characters that didn't have their own character pages. There's a lot of random patients running around the asylum. If they didn't have their own page, I didn't take them. It just seemed like the best way to narrow it down. I'm also excluding Alan Turing. He did have a page, but we're not doing that. He was a real person. He was a person that had a very difficult life and ultimately a very sad life. So we are not involving him in our shenanigans, despite the fact that he was a character in Outlast and had his own wiki page. We're just not doing that. Thank you so much. That's it. That's all. We're leaving him out of this. Okay, cool. With all that being said, let's just jump right in. Number 16 is that motherfucker in the wheelchair, Rudolph Wernicke. He just he's the frailest motherfucker in the game. He could not do it. If he didn't have his little evil powers and his okay, evil powers is pushing it, but if he didn't have the wealth of power that Murkoff gave him and the ability to summon a SWAT team, one-on-one, he could not lift and throw me anywhere. He's so frail. That man has been on the brink of death for decades. They even said so themselves in the game. He's really only alive through sheer willpower and whatever bullshit Murkoff is pulling and Billy keeping him alive. No, absolutely not. He could not throw me anywhere. No, it's not happening. I don't want it. Can I also say something? I didn't say it in my disclaimer originally, but I feel like I should clarify. I know the name of the series is based on how badly I want them to throw me through a wall, but there's maybe 3 characters on this list I would actually want to throw me. So this one far more heavily looks at the mechanics of how I would be thrown, just because there's not a lot of options to choose from. So I really have to look at who physically could do it, and less if I would actually want them to, because otherwise it would just be a race to the bottom. Everybody would tie for 16th place. So we're really looking at practical physics here, okay? So once we get to the groom, don't yell at me. I don't like him. He makes me uncomfortable. But he's demonstrably strong in the game. So it is what it is. We're gonna get there. We'll talk about him in a bit. Number 15 is Simon Peacock, who I don't actually know who that is. I am 99.9% sure Simon Peacock is the guy at the end of Whistleblower who tells Miles who tells Wayland to blow the whistle basically and expose Murkoff. I think that's who it is. He's just down here because we don't even really see him. He's a shadow. We don't really see him fight. I don't really know anything about him. To my understanding, you get to know him a little bit better in the comics, but because I'm still finishing Outlast 2, I haven't read the comics yet, so I can't really comment on that. That's the only reason why he's so low. I'm sorry, Simon. I'm sure you're a great, strong person who could hurl me very far. I just don't have any evidence at the moment to rank you higher. So 15 it is. Number 14 is Andrew/Steve. These are 2 separate characters, but I refuse to believe they're 2 separate characters, so I've lumped them in together. They also have no real personality traits and no real presence in the story beyond glimpses, so I'm ranking them together. Basically, I don't know who's Andrew and who's Steve, but because they have the same face model, so I could not tell you who is who. But one of them is the technician guy at the very beginning of Whistleblower who licks Wayland's face. And the other guy is a technician that looks virtually identical to him, to the point where I thought this was the same character, and I learned on the wiki that they were not meant to be the same character. But it's the guy who, when you go in as Wayland to help like fix the computer or whatever, he's the one who's like, Mr. Park's gonna get us up and running any second now. They have the same character model. And they're both like technicians from Murkoff, and you see them like within 2 minutes of each other. Why are they separate characters? Why not? And you never see them again. So like, why not just have that be the same character? I don't know. So anyways, we're ranking them together because they have the same model and basically the same job. I'm assuming they have the same level of strength. They're low because they're like regular old Murkoff employees. My assumption is, without all of the restraints and all the shit they're pulling, they're not particularly strong. They rely on their ability to brutalize their patients to get their job done. So like, yeah, I don't reliably think they could throw me particularly far. Not like much farther than the average guy. So they're just low. They're just low. Fuck Andrew Steve or whatever his name is. Number 13 is Jeremy Blair. Fuck Jeremy Blair. Along the same reasons as the above. He's just some executive dude, you know? Like, he's just some guy in a suit. He's smarmy. He's a coward, as we saw several times. Like, I kind of want to give him points because he did survive till the very end of Whistleblower. So, like, clearly he has some skills. Either to hide or to run. I don't really know what his skills are. But he clearly had some initiative in the ability that he had to stay alive. But beyond that, he's just some dude. Some cowardly dude. I don't think he could throw me particularly far. The only sport we hear about him playing is golf, which is like, I don't think of golf as a particularly like muscle heavy sport. So yeah, I don't have any faith in his ability to do it, and I really, really don't like him, like at all. So I really wouldn't even want to give him the chance to prove himself to do it, so he's pretty low. He's just marginally higher than Andrew and Steve because like at least we kind of know his character. Like I don't know what Andrew and Steve do in their free time. They could be like somehow worse than Blair. We just don't know because we don't know them well. Also, I usually say this at the beginning of my video, but I forgot. Hello. I haven't done one of these videos in forever, as you guys can probably tell, which is why I'm out of practice. But I usually try to theme either my outfit or my makeup or both based on the game. I didn't really know how to do like an Outlast themed one, so I kind of just went for like red under the eyes and around the eyes and on the eyes to kind of give me look like that sunken in red eye dead look, but like elevated, kind of like, you know, glam dead. And then I just went for like the nudist, most like skin tony lip I could find that didn't actually look like concealer lip, just because I feel like everyone in that asylum looked kind of like they were dying at all times, and I feel like when your lips blend into your face you kind of look like you're dying. So that's kind of what I was trying to channel. I was trying to channel like dying but kind of hot. Also, I'm wearing a gray shirt because I didn't know what to wear, and I figured asylum chic is just like, you know, neutral colors. So I'm wearing a gray shirt. That's my logic. Anyway, back to the list. Number 12 is Stevenson. So Stevenson isn't even really a character, but he had his own page. He's basically the Murkoff SWAT team guy that you see when you go into, I think, the library or something at the very beginning of the game, the original Outlast. When you go in and you see the guy who's hanged, but he's still alive, and he basically tells you to get out through like the security room or whatever at the very beginning. That's Stevenson. He has his own page. He's apparently the leader of like the SWAT team. Clear, so like my assumption with putting him where he is like, he's clearly strong, right? He's like, he's a security officer. He looks pretty bulky. I feel like under normal circumstances he would be pretty strong. He obviously just was not strong enough to overcome like whatever bullshit was going on in the asylum, because it's like borderline paranormal. Like it's all like enhanced people who are also not like mentally stable, unfortunately. So like I feel like under like a regular circumstances he could probably throw like just little old me like pretty far. I just feel like he was overcome by the circumstances around him, but he loses points for being a security guard, and also for, yeah, like obviously he's like dead and dying, so like he's not as strong as everybody else on the list, but I also feel like everybody else on the list has been like put through experimentation and is stronger than the average person. So I feel like relevant to everyone under him, he's obviously stronger, but also relevant to everybody else in the game, we see him when he's dead and dying because he wasn't strong enough. So I can't really justify putting him much higher. Sucks to suck, Stevenson. Maybe you should have gotten a different job, buddy. Number 11 is Miles, our bestie, the first guy we play as. Miles is so interesting to me because like on one hand I love him, and on the other hand I hate him so much because he's like so incompetent. He makes me so angry. As a fellow journalist, Miles makes me mad because he's very bad at his job. Anyway, putting all that aside, I feel like personality wise Miles should be higher because I feel like in terms of like what I want him to throw me, yes, absolutely like number 1 or number 2 on the list. But again, he's not like enhanced. He's like just some dude, and he's like clearly not very strong. He doesn't have enough brain power to like just like pick up all the random shit in the asylum and try to use something as a weapon. So I feel like because he does do some like feats of like, you know, pulling himself up, and like clearly he's like, he does have some strength. I couldn't put him lower, but he also is like just some guy, so I couldn't really put him higher. He also annoys me sometimes. And by the end of the game, he's missing 2 of his fingers, which I feel like would make it really hard, at least until they heal, for him to throw me without injuring himself or dropping me. So he kind of just has to like, again, if this was like a ranking of how much I like the character, he'd be higher, because again, I was him, he was not trying to kill me, so like I like him a lot. But it's not, it's a ranking of how well I think he could throw me through a wall and how much I want him to do it. I want him to do it, I just don't think he'd be very good at it. So unfortunately he cannot break into the top 10, but we love Miles even though he sucks. You know, I feel like we trauma bonded just because we were stuck together for such a long time. It was kind of like, even though you're really bad and you deserve to die, you are kind of me, and therefore I want you to live. I just don't want you to throw me through a wall, I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Same exact logic. Number 10 is Wayland Park. Wayland is just tired because I like him more. Sorry, I like Wayland more. I think he's better. I think his only like real stupid move was whistleblowing his employer while at his job and not just like going home to do it, or like going to like a library to do it, or just like leaving to do it. Like why would you use your work computer in your workspace and then expect to not get caught? You know, like I thought that was kind of a dumb move. I get it, plot reasons, whatever. But otherwise, I liked him a lot more than Miles. I thought he was much smarter, much more likable. Just like fun. Wanted him to get home to his family so badly, and I think he did. The end of the game made it seem like he did. So just inherently that makes him seem stronger to me than Miles. Obviously Miles just got like a bad stick, you know, like a bad stack of cards. I don't know what the expression is. You know, things were not stacked in Miles' favor, but also like Wayland actually got to be the final girl. So, but again, by virtue of that, I think he's stronger. He has all of his fingers, so I think once his leg is healed up, he could throw me and it would be great. He's probably used to like flinging his sons around, so like he probably has strength. Again, his ability to like climb shit really proved, and like jump and stuff really proved that he does have like upper body strength. So I think he could hurl me like significantly far through like a wall, through a window, through a table. It would be a fun experience, and I think he'd be one of the only people on this list who would do it without the intention of killing me. He'd try to be diligent about it, and I probably wouldn't die. Like I'd probably survive, and it would be a fun experience for everybody. I don't know how I would convince him to do it. I don't know where I'd find him, because apparently he's in hiding now with his family. But I think if we could make it work, it would be a fun time. So he gets to be in the top 10. He's just like not really enhanced. Maybe he got like a little bit of morphogenic engine time, so maybe he's a little bit enhanced. But like for the most part, like everybody above him has like, I don't want to say superpowers, because that implies that they're using it to like do things that are like good and not like going on murder sprees because they're out of their minds. But yeah, you know, like it's kind of like not fair comparing the regular dudes to everybody above them. So now we're going into our next 9. Number 9 is Frank Mira. Frank is somebody that me and my friends were calling Buzz throughout the game, because he has that stupid like, what is it, like a bone saw, chainsaw, whatever you want to call it, and he's running around trying to eat you. He's just low because he looked pretty like spindly. Like I know it said that he was like, his weight got down to like 95 pounds, and then once he started like having human blood again or whatever, or like cannibalizing, it went back up. But he still like didn't look particularly like jacked to me. Like I never looked at him and was like, yeah, that guy's looks strong. I just thought he was creepy and unsettling, and you know, that the image of him like face first ripping like chunks of that corpse out just really like stuck with me in a bad way. Like he makes me really uncomfortable. So like I don't want him to do it. And compared to everybody else on this list who's also like a fucked up morphogenic engine experimentation mess, he just looks physically weaker as well. So he's just, that's why he is where he is. He makes me very uncomfortable. Sorry, Frank, I don't want you near me. I don't want it, you know? He did somehow shove me into like a incinerator, so I guess he is kind of strong, but I just feel like if we took his buzzsaw away, I would have a chance. Whereas I don't feel that way about a lot of other people on this list who, like, with or without weaponry, could definitely one-up me. So yeah, that's where Frank is. Number 8 is Martin Archambault, aka the Priest from the original Outlast. So the thing was with the Priest is, again, I feel like I almost trauma bonded with him because, like, yeah, he forced me to stay in the asylum and go through all this bullshit, but he also like didn't like harm me. Besides the one time he like stabbed me with the tranquilizer or whatever to like keep me there, he didn't like harm me the way like everybody else did. So like I have like a soft spot for him. I was like, you were like sick, but also like relatively like trying to do the right thing. And based on everything else I've seen, I don't know. This sounds crazy. He stabbed me with a tranquilizer and I'm like, aw, but you didn't try to kill me. So like I have a soft spot for you, but I do. So you know, and also I feel like, again, compared to like Frank, he definitely seemed like he had a stronger like frame. I also feel like he's one of the only people that I could ask to do this, and maybe he would actually be down and also not kill me. So like, you know, he may not be the strongest, but he's definitely also not the weakest. And he died on his own terms, which I kind of respect. You know, like nobody ripped his head off, nobody killed him. He got everybody to like let him do his thing. So, you know, assertive, good in leadership roles. Lots to say about our good friend Martin. Solidly middle of the pack. I think he'd do a solid job. Not the best, not the worst. Would want him to do it, you know? I kind of want to give him a hug. I don't know, something about that, like, again, it's not normal. Like, I know. He tranquilized me and then forced me to stay in the asylum, then maybe jump through a bunch of, like, hoops to find him, to watch him, like, crucify himself, basically, or, like, set himself on fire. So, like, not normal. And not somebody I would, like, invite out for drinks or anything. But I have a soft spot for him, and so he gets to throw me through the wall, and is, again, one of the only people I would actually want to do it and trust to do it, unlike like everybody else who's only here because they're strong, you know? Number 7 doesn't have a name. He's just listed on the wiki as the Pyromaniac, but he does have his own Wikipedia wiki page, so he's in the ranking. Pyromaniac, if that wasn't clear, is the guy that sets like the entire cafeteria, kitchen, whatever on fire because he wants to die because of the circumstances that he was put in. He's a character that very much tugs on your heartstrings. I feel very bad for him. He seems a lot more lucid than a lot of other people in the asylum. So he's pretty high up because, again, he seems really strong. I'm pretty sure he's the same guy that attacks you once you put the fire out and you're trying to get out through the kitchen. So he does have strength. He does look pretty jacked. Like, he's docile when you find him in, like, around in the fire, but he looks like if he wanted to, he could throw me pretty far. And again, I feel like compared to like everybody else in the asylum, he seems like pretty well adjusted comparatively. Like he's just like, you can leave. Let me burn myself and the rest of this place to the ground, but you can go. He like has no real beef with you until you interrupt his plans, and I kind of respect that. So yeah, and he just looks strong. I don't really have any strong arguments about this. I just think it's kind of obvious why he is where he is. Number 6, unfortunately, is Richard Traeger. Fuck Traeger. Fuck that guy. I hate him so much. He's like tainted the word buddy for me. Like every time I say or hear the word buddy, my brain goes, buddy! And I'm like, oh, fuck that guy. He's a gross ass executive. He is all about the money, all about whatever, all about like abuse and financial gain. But he also like, due to all of the experimentation, he seems pretty strong and pretty determined, you know? He's like very determinedly after you. I definitely think he would kill me on purpose. Like I'd be like, hey, can you like gently toss me through the wall? And he would like snap my neck and then throw my corpse. But all that being said, or like turn me into some sort of like reanimated Frankenstein ping pong ball, I don't really know, but it like he like looks strong. Okay, like look, am I gonna sit here and lie? No, he had like, he was also like fully like naked basically, so like you got to see that he had like jacked arms and like jacked back muscles. What do you want me to say? It is what it is. I don't like it either. I don't want him to be as high as he is. I don't like him as a person. I just feel like comparatively, physically, he would be able to do a good job. Sorry. I don't like it either. But like, I'm not here on this YouTube channel to sit here and lie to you folks. I'm here to tell you the truth, and the truth is, as much as he would kill me, he'd be very good at the throwing me through a wall thing. I don't want him to do it. I just think he'd be very good at it, and in this ranking, being very good at it is really all I got going for me, because again, I don't want most of these people near me. I'm very uncomfortable by their existence. But they are strong, you know? I can't lie. I'm an honest person. My parents always taught me to be honest. When I was a kid, my dad would tell me that the more you lied, there's this like metaphysical mirror in your mind, and the more you lied, the dirtier the mirror would get, and you could never clean the mirror. And I don't really know how that worked because like I knew what Windex was, so I was like, you can always clean the mirror. Like the mirror, like mirrors don't like get infinitely dirty forever. But it was some kind of metaphor that I didn't understand. And so I've always been taught to not lie, and so I'm not lying to you guys, okay? I don't want him to be this high either. I don't want anybody on this list who's as high as they are to be as high as they are, but it just is what it is. And that leads me into number 5, which is not our good friend, our enemy, Eddie Gluskin. Again, same exact logic. I don't want him to be number 5 either. It makes me deeply unhappy that he's number 5. I'm very grossed out by it, and I'm very sad about it, and I don't want him. He makes me very uncomfortable. He's very spooky. I don't like him, okay? He gives heavy incel vibes. He gives like MRA vibes, like hangs out on Reddit in a bad way vibes. Would get like banned from Twitter vibes. I don't like it. Very much wants a trad wife. No, Eddie Gluskin, probably the worst, no, not even probably, easily the worst part of the original Outlast games. Very bad, wanted to chop our dick off. Do not like it. But I have to be honest, guys, he's strong as fuck. We saw how many corpses he like hoisted up onto his ceiling, right? And we saw how many people he overpowered to like tie to his little machine to like chop their genitalia off. Like, he's a jacked dude. I don't want him to do it to me either. I don't want him to touch me. I don't want him to throw me through anything. But like, it is what it is, okay? Like, I know he could do it. What do you want me to say? Like, it literally just is what it is. He's strong. He is strong, and in this game full of horrible people, physical strength is really all I have to offer you. I don't want to have to have said this either. I don't want him to be number 5 on my list because he's the worst. He's so gross. He makes me so uncomfortable. The things I saw in that game due to Eddie Gluskin, I will never forget. But the fucking poem. I'm sorry. I'm like literally like reflecting on the stupid like carved on Gluskin's table, blah blah blah. Ugh, disgusting. But he's strong, and he like hoisted like a gazillion corpses onto the ceiling of that gym. What do you want me to say? That he's not strong? That he wouldn't be great at throwing me? He could lift all those like jacked ass men, and you think he can't throw me violently through a wall? Of course he can. Especially those asylum walls. Those asylum walls are like flimsy as hell. I punched my way out of an incinerator because the whole fucking building is falling apart. Clearly he could do it. I don't want him to do it. I'm not happy that he's here, but it is what it is, okay? We're moving on to number 4, which is Dennis. Dennis, I actually don't know why he's so high. I'm kind of doubting myself. I think it's just because the character model looked really strong, you know? We don't spend a lot of time with Dennis. We spend very little time with Dennis, but in the very little time we spend with him, he looked pretty strong. He also was able to navigate whatever maze bullshit he lives in pretty solidly. So like, kudos to Dennis. I think he's strong and I think he'd do a good job. I have no further explanations to this. Besides that, he just looks strong. Like, and I think, again, because he doesn't like comparatively do that much horrible shit to me, that made me rank him more favorably because he kind of ties into how much I want him to throw me relative to everybody else. Like, I don't want him to, but if it was like between like Traeger and Dennis and Gluskin, I would choose Dennis any day of the week, you know? Because I feel like, especially if you removed Gluskin from the equation, Dennis would probably chill out. Because Dennis's whole thing was he wanted to give us to Gluskin so that he wouldn't be carved up by Gluskin, which, like, I don't appreciate being thrown under the bus like that, but also I get it. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like if I thought somebody was going to carve me up like that, I would maybe also do anything and everything I could to get out of it. So, like, I don't appreciate being thrown under the bus, but the survivalist in me understands the impulse, and yeah, Dennis, I get it, bud. Sorry that we all went through that. You get to be ranked highly because of it all. Number 3 is technically 2 characters, but they're basically 1 character. So the twins, same kind of logic. The characters looked really fucking strong, and like, they were creepy, but they also seemed, again, more lucid than most people in the asylum. They seemed to know exactly what they were doing. I don't trust that they wouldn't do horrible, horrible things to me, and I don't trust that they wouldn't go out of their way to kill me so they could like eat my liver or my eyeballs or whatever. But I think they would be extremely good at the throwing me through a wall thing, especially because there's 2 of them. They could probably like do it together or like take turns. I don't super know. They just like looked really tall and really jacked and like really physically strong again. So like, they just have to be ranked highly by virtue of just like the way they're physically in the game. They also just like don't give up, and yeah, don't love it, but I understand. They were just big. They were just big, and by the end of it, I kind of was like, you guys made me uncomfortable. There were so many worse people in the game. You guys kind of like basically just left me alone if I left you alone, kind of, you know? Like if I just steered clear, you didn't make that much of an effort. You never chased. You would always walk towards me. You never chased me. So it was kind of one of those things where it was like, because I'd been through so much trauma, it was like, yeah, you stabbing me, one-shotting me with a machete was kind of not that bad. So the twins get to be number 3. Number 2 is Chris Walker, a character I never thought I would say I miss, but now that I've started playing Outlast 2, I miss Chris Walker so much. Even Outlast Whistleblower made me miss Chris Walker, even though he was in that game. But like all Chris does is rip your head off. That seems tame, right? Chris also has the benefit of he canonically throws you through things. He, like, canonically, one of the first things that happens to you in the game of Outlast is Chris Walker throws you through like a window or a wall or something, basically from one floor to another. And then you wake up and the priest is there and he's all like, well, you're my witness, whatever. So look, he canonically meets the parameters of this exercise. He does exactly what I would like him to do, and he does it well. He does it great, and you don't die. Which means that when Chris kills you, he only does it because he wants to kill you. So I feel like if you were in some kind of other circumstance, Chris would be brilliant at throwing me through a wall. He checks off every single thing on the list. He's great. He's the king of throwing me through a wall. Oh, well, not the king. He's like the prince because we have one more person above him. But he does such a good job of flinging you through the wall. He like canonically has met the parameters of the exercise. I don't think that's ever happened to me in this series before. No one has canonically met the parameters. But Chris Walker has done it. I miss him. I have a trauma bond with him now because like the way he killed me was like relatively tame. His really only flaw is that he's a cop and like ACAB, you know, but I think his whole life was like a cautionary tale on why you shouldn't be a cop. So like, I feel like he's already been punished for that 10 times over. So yeah, fucking Chris, love that guy. Would let him throw me around. Would let him throw me through a wall. He's done it. I would let him do it again because I trust that he can do it. He has proven that he can do it without killing me. So like 10 out of 10, we love Chris Walker. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I also don't want to be saying the words that I am saying. They are just coming out of my mouth. I did not script this. This is just happening. I am just saying words and I feel bad about it too. How do you think I feel that this is what goes on in my brain all the time? I don't feel good about it. It just is what it is. Something went deeply wrong in my developmental phase. I don't know what. If you find out, tell me because I've been trying to figure it out for 27 years. And with that, we are going to lead into our number one, which is probably the most unhinged thing I'm about to say ever. Number one is Billy Hope / the Walrider. In the wiki, these are two separate characters, but I didn't feel comfortable ranking them separately because for the most part they are intertwined in the game. You don't really see them separately. I also don't know how you could really rank the Walrider separate because, or even rank Billy separately because they don't really seem to exist very much without the other. You can say like the Walrider was in Miles for a bit, but like you don't really get to see that much of that. So I feel like the only fair way to assess this is them together because they are basically together for the most part. And okay, this is the part where I'm about to humiliate myself and open myself up to loads of bullying by everybody who watches this video. I think Billy Hope is kinda, you know, he's kinda like, maybe it's because I have a brain disease that makes me see a white man who's been through trauma and go, huh, I don't know if I could fix that, but I'm certainly interested in seeing what happens next. Maybe I could make him worse, I don't know. But that's Billy Hope, okay? The more I think about Billy Hope, the more I'm like, oh, they hurt you and now you're killing them and I think you're right for that. You know? I think realistically, if they were going to make like an Outlast movie, I think Billy Hope would be played by somebody like Andrew Garfield. Is that mentally insane? Probably yes. But I just think it's true, okay? I think Billy Hope would look like Andrew Garfield, you know? Just like imagine him before he got Murkoffed. I think he would look like Andrew Garfield. And I think if you like shaved Andrew Garfield's head and put him into like a giant like fishbowl, he could Billy Hope the shit out of it, you know? Like I think that's what he would look like, okay? Maybe I'm projecting. I'm probably projecting. I just think, okay, I'm sorry. I just think he would be cute. The more I think about Billy Hope, just like outside of the context of the game, the more I'm like, oh, my poor little meow meow who I want to fix and make worse and like, I don't know. I don't care about the atrocities. I don't care about the deaths. Also, for the most part in the game, he saves you. He also tries to kill you, but like he saves you a bunch of times, and I appreciate that, okay? I don't forget people that save my life. Also, he's another character that canonically throws you off something. I don't think it's through a wall, but he definitely like flings you off of like a platform and you fall several stories. So like again, we know he's strong. The game canonically establishes that he is the most strong character, that he is way stronger than everyone else around him, and that there's really no way to escape him. You can't really hide from him. You can't do shit. So like, he has to be number one, obviously, right? Like he has to be. There's nothing I can say or do that would justify him not being number one. I want him to do it. I think he would do the best job at it. I think he could literally, if he wanted to, like fling me so far, my atoms would separate from my body. And I kind of am intrigued by that concept. I kind of want it to happen to me. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to me in my childhood that made me like this, okay? I don't know. I literally have been searching for answers for 27 years. If you know why this happened to me, please let me know. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know what happened to me. I just something about Billy Hope makes me kind of like, I kind of want you to kill me, and that's kind of problematic, but I don't care, okay? You're not a real character. This doesn't actually matter. I just think we should kiss about it a little bit, okay? And I think he would be played by like Andrew Garfield in the movie, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. And I think it actually works casting-wise, because in my head I was going, well, he's only 23, but they say he looks much older because of all the shit that happened to him. So I think it works, okay? Okay, I think it works. I think Andrew Garfield for Billy Hope should happen. Call me if anybody wants to make this movie. We can work on it. If you want to make like a self-insert character that's me, you know, that like Harley Quinn's with Billy Hope, we could totally do it. I'm full of ideas. I should just stop this video. I'm so sorry. Something about Billy Hope has like wormed its way into my head, and it's like, it has a grip on me, okay? In my brain, he's hot. And I know that's not like, in the game, he's not hot. Like I don't want anyone to think I looked at the representation of him in the game and was like, damn, I would tap that. That is not what I'm saying. I just feel like the Billy Hope that I am imagining in my head is hot. And combine that with the Walrider, which is like super, super fucking strong. If we could like come to some sort of like symbiotic agreement where like everybody was lucid and stable, but we got to keep the superpowers. You know, I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Again, I'm not here to lie to you. I don't know what's wrong with me. The Walrider could get it. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm really sorry I said that. I just feel like in a game full of like sexual assault and like trans misogyny and like weird carving, just like smooshing me into like pulp is not that bad, you know? Turning my enemies into like cherry juice, not that bad, you know? I just think Billy Hope in Walrider form could kind of get it. Sorry. Okay, that's it. He could throw me through a wall. He could do whatever he wanted. I don't care. My dog really wants to hold my hand, so I should probably wrap this video up, but I just want you guys to know that I also wonder what's wrong with me, and I'm so sorry that I'm putting this on the internet, and I am surprised that nobody has tried to check me into an institution. If you decide to do that, please don't choose Mount Massive. Literally any other institution will be fine. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you wanted to follow me on other social media platforms, you can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitch, where I am currently playing Outlast 2. And if you wanted to hang out with me in other videos, I post new videos every Wednesday, so I'll see you guys all next week.